Welcome back. Let's try finish reading. It's hot in my living room. That makes me very sleepy because it's so hot always. But it's like this every day. But I have to close my door to the balcony because this makes a lot of noise to reading this. So let's try finish. I think I should finish reading.
In 1715. But at the same time, he arrived to propose an interreligious and multicultural project to create a universal system of justice, which required from him a broad interdisciplinary perspective. In order to propose it, he combined linguistics, especially sinology, moral and legal philosophy, management, economics, and politics. Law, edit. Leibniz trained as a legal academic, but under the tutelage of Cartesian sympathizer Erhard Weigel we already see an attempt to solve legal problems by rationalist mathematical methods, Weigel's influence being most explicit in the Specimen Questionum Philosophicarum ex Jure Collectorum, an essay of collected philosophical problems of right. For example, the inaugural disputation on perplexing cases uses early combinatorics to solve some legal disputes, while the 1666 dissertation on the combinatorial art includes simple legal problems by way of illustration. The use of combinatorial methods to solve legal and moral problems seems, via Athanasius Kircher and Daniel Schwenter, to be of Lullist inspiration. Raymond Lull attempted to solve ecumenical disputes through recourse to a combinatorial mode of reasoning he regarded as universal, a mathesis universalis. In the late 1660s the enlightened Prince-Bishop of Mainz Johann Philipp von Schonborn announced a review of the legal system and made available a position to support his current law commissioner. Leibniz left Franconia and made for Mainz before even winning the role. On reaching Frankfurt am Main, Leibniz penned the new method of teaching and learning the law, by way of application. The text proposed a reform of legal education and is characteristically syncretic, integrating aspects of Thomism, Hobbesianism, Cartesianism and traditional jurisprudence. Leibniz's argument that the function of legal teaching was not to impress rules as one might train a dog, but to aid the student in discovering their own public reason, evidently impressed von Schonborn as he secured the job. Leibniz's next major attempt to find a universal rational core to law and so found a legal science of right, came when Leibniz worked in Mainz from 1667-72. Starting initially from Hobbes' mechanistic doctrine of power, Leibniz reverted to logico-combinatorial methods in an attempt to define justice. As Leibniz's so-called elementa juris naturalis advanced, he built in modal notions of right, possibility, and obligation, necessity, in which we see perhaps the earliest elaboration of his possible worlds doctrine within a deontic frame. While ultimately the Elementa remained unpublished, Leibniz continued to work on his drafts and promote their ideas to correspondence up until his death. Ecumenism, edit. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. September 2021. Learn how and when to remove this message. Leibniz devoted considerable intellectual and diplomatic effort to what would now be called an ecumenical endeavor, seeking to reconcile the Roman Catholic and Lutheran churches. In this respect, he followed the example of his early patrons, Baron von Boineberg and the Duke John Frederick. both cradle Lutherans who converted to Catholicism as adults, who did what they could to encourage the reunion of the two faiths, and who warmly welcomed such endeavors by others. The House of Brunswick remained Lutheran, because the Duke's children did not follow their father. These efforts included corresponding with French Bishop Jacques Benign Bossuet, and involved Leibniz in some theological controversy. He evidently thought that the thoroughgoing application of reason would suffice to heal the breach caused by the Reformation. Philology, edit. Leibniz the philologist was an avid student of languages, eagerly latching on to any information about vocabulary and grammar that came his way. In 1710, he applied ideas of gradualism and uniformitarianism to linguistics in a short essay. He refuted the belief, widely held by Christian scholars of the time, that Hebrew was the primal language of the human race. At the same time, he rejected the idea of unrelated language groups and considered them all to have a common source. He also refuted the argument, advanced by Swedish scholars in his day, that a form of Proto-Swedish was the ancestor of the Germanic languages. He puzzled over the origins of the Slavic languages and was fascinated by classical Chinese. Leibniz was also an expert in the Sanskrit language. He published the Princeps Editio, first modern edition, of the late medieval Chronicon Holtsashi, a Latin chronicle of the county of Holstein. Sinophology, edit. Leibniz was perhaps the first major European intellectual to take a close interest in Chinese civilization, which he knew by corresponding with, and reading other works by, European Christian missionaries posted in China. He apparently read Confucius' Synorum Philosophius in the first year of its publication. He came to the conclusion that Europeans could learn much from the Confucian ethical tradition. He mulled over the possibility that the Chinese characters were an unwitting form of his universal characteristic. He noted how the I Ching hexagrams correspond to the binary numbers from 000000 to 111,111, and concluded that this mapping was evidence of major Chinese accomplishments in the sort of philosophical mathematics he admired. Leibniz communicated his ideas of the binary system representing Christianity to the Emperor of China, hoping it would convert him. Leibniz was one of the Western philosophers of the time who attempted to accommodate Confucian ideas to prevailing European beliefs. Leibniz's attraction to Chinese philosophy originates from his perception that Chinese philosophy was similar to his own. The historian E.R. Hughes suggests that Leibniz's ideas of simple substance and pre-established harmony were directly influenced by Confucianism, pointing to the fact that they were conceived during the period when he was reading Confucius' Synorum Philosophius. Polymath, edit. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. September 2021. Learn how and when to remove this message. While making his grand tour of European archives to research the Brunswick family history that he never completed, Leibniz stopped in Vienna between May 1688 and February 1689, where he did much legal and diplomatic work for the Brunswicks. He visited mines, talked with mine engineers, and tried to negotiate export contracts for lead from the ducal mines in the Harz Mountains. His proposal that the streets of Vienna be lit with lamps burning rapeseed oil was implemented. During a formal audience with the Austrian Emperor and in subsequent memoranda, he advocated reorganizing the Austrian economy, reforming the coinage of much of Central Europe, negotiating a concordat between the Habsburgs and the Vatican, and creating an imperial research library, official archive, and public insurance fund. He wrote and published an important paper on mechanics. posthumous reputation, edit. Leibniz Strasse Street sign Berlin. When Leibniz died, his reputation was in decline. He was remembered for only one book, the Theodicy, whose supposed central argument Voltaire lampooned in his popular book Candide, which concludes with the character Candide saying, "Non licet, it is not clear," a term that was applied during the Roman Republic to a legal verdict of not proven. Voltaire's depiction of Leibniz's ideas was so influential that many believed it to be an accurate description. Thus Voltaire and his Candide bear some of the blame for the lingering failure to appreciate and understand Leibniz's ideas. Leibniz had an ardent disciple, Christian Wolff, whose dogmatic and facile outlook did Leibniz's reputation much harm. Leibniz also influenced David Hume, who read his Theodicy and used some of his ideas. In any event, philosophical fashion was moving away from the rationalism and system building of the 17th century, of which Leibniz had been such an ardent proponent. His work on law, diplomacy, and history was seen as of ephemeral interest. The vastness and richness of his correspondence went unrecognized. Leibniz's reputation began to recover with the 1765 publication of the Nouveaux Essays. In 1768, Louis Dutens edited the first multi-volume edition of Leibniz's writings, followed in the 19th century by a number of editions, including those edited by Erdmann, Foucher de Quereille, Gerhardt, Cheland, Klopp, and Molat. Publication of Leibniz's correspondence with notables such as Antoine Arnauld, Samuel Clarke, Sophia of Hanover, and her daughter Sophia Charlotte of Hanover, began. In 1900, Bertrand Russell published a critical study of Leibniz's metaphysics. Shortly thereafter, Louis Couturat published an important study of Leibniz, and edited a volume of Leibniz's heretofore unpublished writings, mainly on logic. They made Leibniz somewhat respectable among 20th century analytical and linguistic philosophers in the English-speaking world. Leibniz had already been of great influence to many Germans such as Bernhard Riemann. For example, Leibniz's phrase solva veritate, meaning interchangeability without loss of or compromising the truth, recurs in Willard Quinn's writings. Nevertheless, the secondary literature on Leibniz did not really blossom until after World War II. This is especially true of English-speaking countries. In Gregory Brown's bibliography, fewer than 30 of the English-language entries were published before 1946. American Leibniz studies owe much to Leroy Lonka, 1904-1985, through his translations and his interpretive essays in Leclerc, 1973. Leibniz's philosophy was also highly regarded by Gilles Deleuze, who in 1988 published The Fold, Leibniz and the Baroque, an important part of Deleuze's own corpus. Nicholas Joly has surmised that Leibniz's reputation as a philosopher is now perhaps higher than at any time since he was alive. Analytic and contemporary philosophy continue to invoke his notions of identity, individuation, and possible worlds. Work in the history of 17th and 18th century ideas has revealed more clearly the 17th century intellectual revolution that preceded the better-known industrial and commercial revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries. In Germany, various important institutions were named after Leibniz. In Hanover in particular, he is the namesake for some of the most important institutions in the town. 1. Leibniz University Hanover. 2. Leibniz Akademie, institution for academic and non-academic training and further education in the business sector. 3. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz Bibliothek Niedersächsische Landesbibliothek, one of the largest regional and academic libraries in Germany and, alongside the Oldenburg State Library and the Herzog August Library in Wolfenbüttel, one of the 3 state libraries in Lower Saxony. 4. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz Gesellschaft, Society for the Cultivation and Dissemination of Leibniz's Teachings. Outside of Hanover. 1. Leibniz Association, Berlin. 2. Leibniz Societät der Wissenschaften zu Berlin, Association of Scientists founded in Berlin in 1993 with the legal form of a registered association. It continues the activities of the Academy of Sciences of the GDR with personnel continuity. 3. Leibniz College of Tübingen University, central propedeutic institution of the university, which aims to enable high school graduates to make a well-founded study decision through a 10-month, comprehensive general course of study and at the same time to introduce them to academic work. 4. Leibniz Supercomputing Center, Munich. 5. More than 20 schools all over Germany. Awards. 1. Leibniz Ring Hanover, honor given since 1997 by the Hanover Press Club to personalities or institutions who have drawn attention to themselves through an outstanding performance or have made a special mark through their life's work. 2. Leibniz Medal of the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Sciences and Humanities, established in 1906 and awarded previously by the Prussian Academy of Sciences and later the German Academy of Sciences at Berlin. 3. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz Medal of the Leibniz Societät. 4. Leibniz Medal der Akademie der Wissenschaften und der Literatur Mainz. In 1985, the German government created the Leibniz Prize, offering an annual award of €1.55 million for experimental results and €770,000 for theoretical ones. It was the world's largest prize for scientific achievement prior to the Fundamental Physics Prize. The collection of manuscript papers of Leibniz at the Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz Bibliothek Niedersächsische Landesbibliothek was inscribed on UNESCO's Memory of the World Register in 2007. Cultural references, edit. Leibniz still receives popular attention. The Google Doodle for the 1st of July 2018 celebrated Leibniz's 372nd birthday. Using a quill, his hand is shown writing Google in binary ASCII code. One of the earliest popular but indirect expositions of Leibniz was Voltaire's satire Candide, published in 1759. Leibniz was lampooned as Professor Pangloss, described as the greatest philosopher of the Holy Roman Empire. Leibniz also appears as one of the main historical figures in Neil Stevenson's series of novels The Baroque Cycle. Stevenson credits readings and discussions concerning Leibniz for inspiring him to write the series. Leibniz also stars in Adam Ehrlich Sachs's novel The Organs of Sense. The German biscuit Choco Leibniz is named after Leibniz, a famous resident of Hanover where the manufacturer Balsen is based. Writings and publication, edit. Leibniz mainly wrote in 3 languages, Scholastic Latin, French and German. During his lifetime, he published many pamphlets and scholarly articles, but only 2 philosophical books, The Combinatorial Art and The Theodicy. He published numerous pamphlets, often anonymous, on behalf of the House of Brunswick-Luneburg, most notably the De Jure Suprematum, a major consideration of the nature of sovereignty. One substantial book appeared posthumously, his Nouveau Essai sur l'Entendement Humain, which Leibniz had withheld from publication after the death of John Locke. Only in 1895, when Bodman completed his catalogue of Leibniz's manuscripts and correspondence, did the enormous extent of Leibniz's class become clear, about 15,000 letters to more than 1,000 recipients plus more than 40,000 other items. Moreover, quite a few of these letters are of essay length. Much of his vast correspondence, especially the letters dated after 1700, remains unpublished, and much of what is published has appeared only in recent decades. The more than 67,000 records of the Leibniz edition's catalogue cover almost all of his known writings and the letters from him and to him. The amount, variety, and disorder of Leibniz's writings are a predictable result of a situation he described in a letter as follows. I cannot tell you how extraordinarily distracted and spread out I am. I am trying to find various things in the archives. I look at old papers and hunt up unpublished documents. From these I hope to shed some light on the history of the House of Brunswick. I receive and answer a huge number of letters. At the same time, I have so many mathematical results, philosophical thoughts, and other literary innovations that should not be allowed to vanish that I often do not know where to begin. The extant parts of the critical edition of Leibniz's writings are organized as follows. 1. Series 1. Political, historical, and general correspondence. 25 vols, 1666 1706. 2. Series 2. Philosophical correspondence. 3 vols, 1663 1700. 3. Series 3. Mathematical, scientific, and technical correspondence. 8 vols, 1672 1698. 4. Series 4. Political writings. 9 vols, 1667 1702. 5. Series 5. Historical and linguistic writings. In preparation. 6. Series 6. Philosophical writings. 7 vols, 1663 90, and Nouveau Essai sur l'entendement humain. 7. Series 7. Mathematical writings. 6 vols, 1672 76. 8. Series 8. Scientific, medical, and technical writings. 1 volume, 1668 76. The systematic cataloguing of all of Leibniz's Nachlass began in 1901. It was hampered by 2 world wars and then by decades of German division into 2 states with the Cold War's Iron Curtain in between, separating scholars, and also scattering portions of his literary estates. The ambitious project has had to deal with writings in 7 languages, contained in some 200,000 written and printed pages. In 1985 it was reorganized and included in a joint program of German federal and state, Länder, academies. Since then the branches in Potsdam, Munster, Hanover and Berlin have jointly published 57 volumes of the critical edition, with an average of 870 pages, and prepared index and concordance works. Selected works, edit. The year given is usually that in which the work was completed, not of its eventual publication. 1666, Papa 1690. De Art Combinatoria, on the Art of Combination, partially translated in Lohnke 1 and Parkinson, 1966. 1667 Nova Methodus Descende Docendeica Jurisprudentiae, a new method for learning and teaching jurisprudence. 1667 Dialogus de Connection inter Recit Verba. 1671 Hypothesis Physica Nova, New Physical Hypothesis, Lohnke 8.I, Part 1673 Confessio Philosophiae, A Philosopher's Creed, an English translation is available online. October, 1684. Meditations de Cognition, Veritatit Ideis, Meditations on Knowledge, Truth, and Ideas. November, 1684. Nova Methodus Pro Maximis et Minimis, New Method for Maximums and Minimums, translated in Struick, D.J., 1969. A Source Book in Mathematics, 1200–1800. Harvard University Press, 27181. 1686 Discours de Métaphysique, Martin and Brown, 1988, Ariel and Garber 35, Loenke 35, Wiener 3.3, Woolhouse and Franks 1. 1686 General's Inquisitions de Analyse I Notionum et Veritatem, General Inquiries about the Analysis of Concepts and of Truths. 1694 De Prime Philosophiae Emendation, it de Notion Substantiae, on the correction of first philosophy and the notion of substance. 1695 System Nouveau de la Nature et de la Communication des Substances, New System of Nature. 1700 Accessions Historici. 1703 Explication de l'arithmétique binaire, Explanation of Binary Arithmetic, Carl Emanuel Gerhardt, Mathematical Writings 7.223. An English translation by Lloyd Strickland is available online. 1704, Papa 1765. Nouveau essai sur l'entendement humain. Translated in Remnant, Peter, and Bennett, Jonathan, trans. 1996. New Essays on Human Understanding Langley Translation 1896. Cambridge University Press. Wiener 3.6, Part 1707–1710. Scriptures Rerum Brunsvicensium, 3 vols. 1710 Theodicee, Farrer, A.M., and Huggard, E.M., trans. 1985, 1952. Wiener 3.11, Part. An English translation is available online at Project Gutenberg. 1714 Principes de la Nature et de la Grâce Fonds en Raison. 1714 Monadology, translated by Nicholas Rieske, 1991. The Monadology, an edition for students. University of Pittsburgh Press. Ariel and Garber 213, Loenke 67, Wiener 3.13, Woolhouse and Franks 19. An English translation by Robert Latter is available online. Posthumous Works, edit. 1717 Collectanea Etymologica, edited by the Secretary of Leibniz Johann Georg von Eckhart. 1749 Protogaea. 1750 Origins Gulfisi. Collections, edit. 6 important collections of English translations are Wiener, 1951, Parkinson, 1966, Loenke, 1969, Ariel and Garber, 1989, Woolhouse and Franks, 1998, and Strickland, 2006. The ongoing critical edition of all of Leibniz's writings is sound like Schriften und Brief. See also, edit. 1 General Leibniz Rule. 2 Leibniz Association. 3 Leibniz Operator. 4 List of German inventors and discoverers. 5 List of pioneers in computer science. 6 List of things named after Gottfried Leibniz. 7 Mathesis Universalis. 8 Scientific Revolution. 9 Leibniz University Hanover. 10 Bartholomew des Bosses. 11 Joachim Bouvet. 12 Outline of Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. 13 Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz Bibliography. Notes, edit.